So today's tutorial is going to be on this wound, this stapled up wound look, and I'm going to show you how to achieve it today. So this is the Nye Nose and Scar Wax. This is super easy to achieve, you guys. As you can see here, I'm taking a little bit of Vaseline, putting it on my fingers and hands. This is going to help you to pick up that wax and mold it a little bit so it's not super sticky on your hands. I'm taking a little bit out of the pot here and just rolling it back and forth in between my hands. You want to be careful not to use too much Vaseline because then it'll just be too slippery and it won't mold to your skin. So I'm just rolling up a piece here and splitting it into two. I actually think I used more than needed. You don't need to use this much, but I really want it to be raised. So all I'm doing is placing that molding wax directly onto my hand. Again, just making sure my hands are greased up with that Vaseline so it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to start just smoothing it out onto my hand so that those lines aren't so blunt and it's a little bit more seamless on the skin. We're going to be putting a lot of paint and things over this, so it's okay if it's not perfect. You don't want it to be perfect, in fact, because this is a nasty, nasty wound and cut. So I'm just going to keep smoothing it out until I feel like it looks good, which I think it looks pretty good. So now what we're going to do is create the actual wound itself. I'm just using the sharp end of a makeup spatula. Of course, don't use something too sharp. This is just going through this fake skin, but just be careful doing this. I wanted the wound itself to be a little more jagged, a little more thick, so I'm just going back and forth, just creating that wound right there. Make it as thick as you want, as open as you want. Ugh, it looks pretty nasty, right? And now I'm going in with this RCMA No color powder. You can use a translucent powder that you have. And I'm just dusting it over the wound just to take away a little bit of that shine so it looks a little bit more realistic. Next, we need to add some color to the wound now. I'm going in with this quad from Nye. This is the Bruise and Abrasion wheel. I absolutely love this wheel, but if you don't want to purchase it, you can definitely use lipsticks or other colors to actually mimic the same colors. I'm going in with just a paintbrush from Michaels, and I'm just filling in with the brightest red, the inside of the wound. You really want to make sure you get all the inside of it because this is where the actual flesh is. You can see I'm kind of going back and forth. Don't forget the sides. Make it as nasty as you want. I'm going in now with a darker color. This is just going to give it a little bit more depth. Also, guys, this is very similar to the stitches tutorial that I did, so I'll link that below if I haven't already posted it, or just keep a lookout if it's going to be posted soon. Once you have your desired depth with the colors, you're going to go ahead and give the overall wound some more depth. So I'm just taking a sponge here. You can use a cosmetic sponge, any sponge that you have, and I'm just dipping it into all of the colors really, and just putting those all around the wound. We want it to look more infected. We want it to look nasty. This is not a clean cut. So again, you can see me taking the cosmetic sponge, dipping through all of those different colors on the Bruise and Abrasion wheel, and just really focusing on the outside of the wound since we already did the inside. Continue this until you like what it looks like. Keep adding and adding. If you want to throw some dirt and stuff on here too, that'd be fine. But again, this is total preference. Make it as nasty as you want. But I chose to stop here and just buff this out just a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the staples. So using some real staples, I took a clump of them, maybe 3, and I started to place them directly onto the wax. Now the wax is still soft, so you can just push it in. If you're wearing this out, I would recommend that if you are wearing this out for the night, that you want to put some latex or some spirit gum on the staples first, just so they stay. That also goes for the wax itself. You will want to place a little bit on the outer perimeter if you are wearing it all night. That way it actually stays, because the molding wax does heat up with your skin while it's warm, and you want to make sure it stays on. So now we're going to add some blood. Of course, I'm going in with this Nye Fresh Scab Blood. This stuff is great. It's really thick, and all I'm doing is placing it where the stitches entered. Of course, we want to look, again, infected and nasty, so I'm really focusing this blood primarily on where the stitches went into the skin, and then you'll see I also place it in the center, just because we want to make it real nasty and gory, right? Right. So once you are done adding your desired amount of blood, we're going to go in with this Clown White. This is a cream paint, and we're just placing this in the highest points of the skin just to give it a little bit more dimension, as if it didn't have enough already. And this is the final step, you guys. I hope that you love this tutorial. Let me know if you do decide to try it out. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye, guys!